Would please rise. I'm going to call on Commissioner Weisenbaker for the invocation and the pledge.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the rain we've been getting, Lord, and we just thank you for everything you're sending our way and all of our many blessings. Father, give us the strength and the wisdom and the courage to make the right decisions tonight for our constituents. And please, Lord, forgive us of our sins and show your favor on all of us. In Christ's name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Weisenbaker. Do we have any folks here with Leadership Lounge tonight or with Leadership Youth? Anybody? All right, we're good. I guess they're all on vacation this week then, aren't they? All right, we'll move on then. Commissioners inside. Oh, first off, I want to say a very big thank you to Vice Chair Evans for filling in for me at the work session yesterday morning. I heard nothing but glowing reports. As a matter of fact, I may be gone the next meeting, so you can just continue on with it, okay?
You have the permission to add this.
Yes. Also, Commissioners, in front of you, you also have an item, an agenda item that I'd like to ask that it would be added to the agenda. This is an item, and the item is the emergency repair of fascia and roof replacement for the Hayhire Health Department. This was due to Hurricane Helene damage. If there's no objections to adding that, I would add that to the agenda as item 8B. If there's any objections, I'll hear those. If not, then we'll consider it approved. Thank you very much. All right, Commissioners, inside your package, you'll have your minutes from the work session as well as your regular session minutes of May the 27th. If there's no additions, deletions, or corrections, I'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
Motion to approve.
Do we have a motion to approve? Do I have a second?
Second.
Do I have a second? Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Hearing none, the minutes are approved. Agenda item 5A is our first of two appointments. The first is to the Valdosta Lowndes County Parks and Recreation Authority. Ms. Dukes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, Commissioners. The seat that is currently held by Mr. Vince Miller on the VLPRA board will expire on June the 30th of this year, and Dr. Miller has expressed an interest in continuing to serve. Also, Mr. Samuel Clements has expressed a desire to serve.
Okay, any questions for Ms. Dukes? All right, Commissioners, I know both of these gentlemen, Mr. Clemens as well as Dr. Miller. I will say for Dr. Miller's credit, I attend most all of the Parks and Recreation Authority board meetings. He is very plugged in. He is very active with the board and has been doing a fantastic job. That's my opinion of Mr. Miller and his. I'm sure Mr. Clemens would do just as good a job, but Mr. Miller wants to continue to serve, and he is doing a good job. So with that, I'll open the floor for nominations, and I will place Mr. Vince Miller's name in nomination. Are there any other nominations? All right, hearing none, we'll close the nominations, and Mr. Vince Miller will be reappointed to the Valdosta Lowndes County Parks and Recreation Authority by acclamation. Agenda item 5B is the Lowndes County Division of Family and Children Services, known as DFACS, and its membership on that board. Ms. Dukes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Lynn Ornstein has served on the DFACS board. Her term will expire June the 30th of this year. She has expressed an interest in continuing to serve. And Mr. Sam Clements has also expressed an interest in serving on this board. Also, Mrs. Ornstein is with us tonight if you all had any questions for her.
Okay. Any questions for Ms. Dukes? All right, hearing none, I'll open the floor up for nominations. I will be more than glad to nominate Ms. Lynn Ornstein to continue to serve on the DFACS board. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, I'll close the nominations, and Ms. Lynn Ornstein will be reappointed by acclamation. Ms. Ornstein, thank you very much for serving. Appreciate it. Agenda item 6A is our first of two public hearing items. The first is REZ 2025-08. This is the Joseph Williams property. It's located at 7219 Good Hope Road. This involves 2.5 acres. It is currently EA, and the request is for EA as well as RA, and this will be served by Welland Septic. Mr. Dillard.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, Commissioners. You'll see here the request by Mr. Williams to rezone actually a portion of the property, which I'll show you a little bit later on. The current zoning pattern, as is depicted by the agricultural character area, is EA. The subject property in its entirety is 10 acres. Mr. Williams is hoping to subdivide off 2.5, which is in line with the agricultural character area. Again, there's no wetlands on the property to speak of. And again, here's some of those surrounding parcels that we talk about. Here's a proposed subdivision of the property. You'll notice tract 1 there is the 2.5 acres. That is the actual portion requesting to be rezoned to RA in order to be legally conforming per the ULDC. Again, I've overlaid that survey on the surrounding properties just to give you some sort of visual representation. But when the TRC analyzed this request, they looked at all the relevant factors and ultimately recommended approval of this request, to which the GLPC also recommended approval unanimously at their last meeting.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Dillard? All right, hearing none, we'll move into the public hearing portion of the meeting. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak in opposition to this request? Anyone that would like to speak in opposition? Hearing none, is there any that would like to speak in support of this request? Please come forward and state your name and address for the record, please. No, come to the podium, please. Remove your hat, please.
Oh, yes.
Thank you, sir.
Excuse me, but I'm so used to it.
I got
Excuse me, council. It's great to be here this evening. Great to see you all. The property owner, Joseph Williams, 7219 Good Hope Road, and adjacent properties as well. Just to voice my own favor for this, I see no reason for opposition from our neighbors, et cetera. I spoke with all of them in person, and they're all in agreement. So that's up to you guys to decide, but I appreciate you for your time this evening. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, sir. Any questions for the speaker? All right, thank you, sir. Is there anyone else that would like to speak in support of this request? Okay, hearing none, we'll close the public hearing portion of the meeting, and Commissioners, I'll turn it over to you for your consideration.
Motion to approve the rezoning.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the request. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor signify by aye. Aye. Any opposed, like sign. Hearing none, the motion carries. Agenda item 6B is REZ 2025-09. This is all metal buildings. They're located at 2515 Madison Highway. This involves 2 acres. It is currently CG, and the request is for CH, and it has well and septic. Mr. Dillard.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. You'll note the zoning pattern here along Madison Highway. It does have commercial highway frontage. The M2 property across the street is the Valdosta Lowndes Airport there. You'll also notice a residential pattern to the east of Pool Street. The subject property are the 2 commercial general properties highlighted there in blue. Again, this is in keeping with the character area, which does recommend the commercial highway zoning here. We also note that it's within the urban service area, the community activity center character area, the Valdosta Airport overlay, and also a graphic groundwater recharge, which you can kind of see here by the highlighted yellow. This is a current existing building or business of all metal buildings. You'll note the property there with the red square. They are looking to expand to those new parcels to the rear. And again, with that being said, after meeting with TRC was favorable of recommending approval for this with 2 conditions. And I'll try to explain those conditions as we take a quick look around the property. Again, the 2 acres here on the rear of the property, just for reference. This is a look down Cannon Avenue towards the south portion, towards Pool Street. And then again, at the intersection of Cannon and Pool, looking back to the northwest, looking at the subject property. Again, now we look north down Pool Street. You'll notice some residents there across to the east. And then we go to the northeast corner, looking back down to the southwest of the existing property. And then backing up across Douglas, which is an improved road. With that being said, the 2 conditions that the TRC recommended are 1, any vehicular ingress and egress off of Pool Street or the unimproved portion of Cannon Avenue shall require the property owner or developer to pave the street from that ingress egress to the nearest paved street. The property owner or developer will also be responsible for the design, any acquisition of necessary right-of-way, relocation of utilities, and construction costs for the paving of those sections mentioned above. Again, that's if they're proposing access off of an unimproved street. The second condition is regarding Pool Street. It's the eastern property line along Pool Street shall be required to have a landscape buffer that meets or exceeds the ULDC section 40706. With that being said, again, that's the TRC's recommendation. The Planning Commission also heard this request. Hearing from the applicant who spoke in support of the request and hearing no opposition, Planning Commission recommended unanimous approval with the conditions, 8-0.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Dillard?
Mr. Dillard, will you show us back in the photographs again where the buffer, is that the buffer right, that we're seeing here down Pool Street?
That is the
would be
existing,
required
that is
buffer?
the existing landscape, but yes, sir, that is where the buffer would be proposed.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, hearing none, we'll move into the public hearing portion of the meeting. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak in opposition to this request? Anyone that would like to speak in opposition? Hearing none, is there anyone that would like to speak in support of this request? Anyone that would like to speak in support? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing portion of the meeting. Commissioners, I'll turn it back over to you for your consideration.
Motion to approve.
Do we have a motion to approve? Do I have a second?
Is that with conditions?
If that's with condition.
Approve with conditions.
Yeah.
Okay, approve with the conditions,
Second.
conditions 1 and 2. So do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Hearing none, the motion carries. Agenda item 7A is the service agreement with South Georgia Regional Commission to perform hazard mitigation plan and update. Mr. Ty.
Good evening. As we discussed yesterday morning, Lowndes County received a grant to hire a contractor to assist us with the update to our hazard mitigation plan. We will once again use the South Georgia Regional Commission. They performed the last 2 updates for us and has been satisfactory. So just need approval for the chairman to sign the agreement with South Georgia Regional Commission to perform the update services. Be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions for Mr. Ty?
How often do we have to do this update?
Every 5 years.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Ty. Commissioners, I will consider a motion.
My motion is we authorize you to sign the service agreement with
Do we have a-
SGRC.
Okay, we have a motion to authorize the chairman to sign the service agreement with the South Georgia Regional Commission. Do we have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Hearing none, the motion carries. Agenda item 7B is the purchase of one Sutphen heavy-duty custom pumper. Chief, how are you doing, sir?
Wonderful, sir. How are you?
Very well,
Good
thank you.
afternoon, Commissioners. Fire Department's asking for consideration to approve the purchase of one Sutphen heavy-duty pumper. This truck will be slated to be housed at Station 9, which is our west side district. We have a 36 to 38-month build time on this truck. That's why we're bringing it to y'all now for consideration as we continue, looking at expanding the fire service into that area.
Any questions for Chief Young?
How long a truck is this?
As far as length?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. It's the standard truck that we've been purchasing. I think they're 40-something feet long. I'm not sure. I've got the specs here. I think y'all have them in y'all's packet also.
The cost increases that we're seeing on these, Ms. Dukes, has been ridiculous, hasn't it? I mean,
It's
Yeah,
across the
that's
board.
really one of the reasons why we go ahead and get it in the pipeline now with a 3-year build. The price that we're being quoted for, and correct me if I'm wrong, is today's price, not a price from 3 years ago.
Today's price, and we're locked in, and then July 1, they'll see a 5% increase.
And we don't have to pay any money like we talked about in the
No,
work
sir, not
session
until we take delivery.
delivery of the truck.
I would assume that, I mean, whether it was intentional or hindsight or whatever, but I would assume that when we purchased those last trucks, from the time we purchased it to the time of delivery.
Doubled.
Double?
It doubled.
Okay. I wasn't gonna say quite double.
No,
but
it doubled.
It's doubled.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
The rest of my question was,
sorry.
that truck will fit into that west side building with no problems?
Yes, sir.
I did locate that fire station. You don't even know it's there till you
Yes, sir.
go by it.
That end bay, these trucks will fit.
But the station looks good. Looks antiquated, but the building does.
Yes, sir.
But, that'd be good.
All right, any other questions? All right, hearing none. Thanks, Chief. Commissioners, I will entertain a motion.
I make a motion to pre-order this, fire truck.
Okay, we have a motion to move forward with the pre-order of the Sutphen Heavy Duty Custom Pumper. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Ms. Evans. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Hearing none, the motion carries. Agenda item 7A is the Highway 94 East property. Mr. McLeod.
Yes, sir, thank you. The county owns a .86 parcel of property on Highway 94 East, which is completely surrounded by Valdosta Lowndes County Industrial Authority. The county is not using the parcel and has no plans to use it. If the county conveys it to the Industrial Authority, the property will be combined with the adjoining Industrial Authority property and used for the authority's purpose for the benefit of the public. A proposed quitclaim deed of the property to the Industrial Authority is attached in your packet.
Any questions for Mr. McLeod? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the conveyance and authorize you to sign the quitclaim deed, given the Industrial Development Authority ownership.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Hearing none, the motion carries. All right, we'll move on now to agenda item 8A, and this is a new facility for the Lowndes County Fire Rescue. This is station number 4. Mr. McLeod.
Yes, sir. A new facility for Lowndes County Fire Rescue Station Number 4 is a 13,296 square foot building that is proposed to be constructed at 4111 Stewart Circle. The new facility includes fire rescue living quarters, EMS living quarters, 4 truck bays, and all-site work. Lowndes County Fire Rescue currently operates out of the older volunteer station located at 4007 Old US 41 North. This location is temporary and not intended for long-term use. The new station is the next step in the approved expansion plan for Lowndes County Fire Rescue. Staff opened bids on May 23rd and received 5 bids. The low bidder was Kellerman Construction at $4,767,660 and 270 days to complete the build.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. McLeod? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve Kellerman Construction as the low bidder and authorize you to sign the contract.
Okay, we have a motion to approve Kellerman Construction's low bid price of $4,767,660 and authorize the chairman to sign the contract, and the project will be completed in 270 days. Are there any other questions? You have a second?
Second.
Got a second from Mr. Weisenbaker. All right. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Hearing none, the motion carries. All right, agenda item 8B is the item that we added, and this is the emergency repair of the roof and the fascia for the Hayhire Health Department. Ms. Dukes?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We continue to remain on list for contractors, just like everyone else, related to our facilities that were damaged during the hurricanes. This is the next facility that we're ready to move to. I think there was some question about the use of that facility by the health department. We have verified that it is still very much in use. And so Robin was able to get the final pricing today, so we are grateful for you all amending the agenda. We can move forward under the emergency guidelines, but we wanted you to could approve it as soon as possible. So with you all's direction, we will move forward with scheduling that.
Okay. Any questions for Ms. Dukes? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the emergency fascia repairs and roof replacement by Reliable Construction for $25,340.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the emergency repair to the fascia and the roof for the Hayhire Health Department for Reliable Construction.
Second.
As a low bid, we have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Hearing none, the motion carries. Agenda item 9, County Manager Report, Ms. Dukes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before I move into my report, I would like to recognize members of Kellerman Construction, also Mr. Jimmy Cohn, that are in the room with us tonight. Both of these gentlemen are tremendous partners where our staff and the community is concerned. We had more people show up for the pre-bid meeting for the fire station than we have had in a very long time. And I think that while any of those that proposed a bid could have done a good job, our staff is very excited to work with someone who is tried and true that we know is going to be a good partner through the project. I'd also like to thank Mr. Jimmy. Whenever you put the fire department's needs and then that of the infrastructure that has to be built into the building with all of our other departments, this was not an easy design, but Mr. Jimmy was very patient with us, and he delivered what the fire department need in turn is what our citizens need with regards to this service. So, Mr. Jimmy, thank you for your leadership and your guidance and your patience, most importantly, with us moving through that process. So we're excited to see your name on the station as well as we move towards completion. On May the 28th, a good group of our department heads and myself attended the FEMA Recovery Planning Workshop at the EOC. This was a government official led meeting or level meeting that was led by FEMA. They brought in all of the agencies that are still involved with long-term recovery here in Lowndes County. Part of the direction here is to familiarize everyone with the programs that we expect DCA to put forward as we continue to move through long-term recovery with our citizens. They were very transparent with us to let us know that they are still writing the rules for the CDBG disaster recovery funds. That's the CDBG DR funding. We're expecting those rules to be available after the first of the year, but some of the conversations there related to affordable housing. We also know that there's a big need for roof repair, some mold mitigation and things like that. So all of that will be a part of the conversation as we move forward to apply for those funds on behalf of our citizens. So we will keep you all updated as we hear more from DCA and the state moves forward with the federal government on that. Also, you have before you a report that Ms. Barwick and her team have begun to put together as far as the visitors. We have every month at our historic courthouse, so you all have copies of that for the last few months, and they're going to continue to put that together monthly, so look for that in your email moving forward. Also, I received a call this morning from Mr. Wesley Langdale, and he could have not spoken nicer words, Robin, related to Public Works. There was a repair recently on Old Clyattville Road, also managing the debris removal from the Kinderloo residential area. I was very proud of our Public Works Department and Robin's leadership, and I hope you all are too, with Wesley's gratitude and us moving forward with those projects. And Robin, he's actually sending you all a letter that we can put up down at Public Works for your teams to see related to that. Also, Ms. Thrasher and Quiet Pines has managed to land the Interclub group. This is a team approach to golf, and it can be tennis. Interclub is a network that is very competitive and kind of plays at a higher level than maybe the rest of us in some of these sports. But Interclub is going to be at Quiet Pines on June the 12th, and they're going to have 22 ladies that are playing golf that day. So it's pretty competitive to be able to land this. We are grateful that absent a clubhouse, they're still willing to come to Quiet Pines. But we've got some information out on social media, and if you're interested in being there that day, we can provide you with that information. Also, just a reminder of our NIMS training for elected officials related to emergency preparedness that Ashley Ty will be hosting in the morning at 8:30 at the Emergency Operations Center. I'm excited to see you all there. And then on Thursday, I have a meeting with John Sparks from the Partnership for Health. We talked a lot about the cost of inmate medical care when we were discussing the budget this year. And whenever we talked to some of our judges about how those folks were being handled through the court system, one of them is on the Partnership for Health Board and mentioned that there could be some possible assistance there for inmate medical care through the Partnership for Health. So we're having a meeting on Thursday. If any of you would like to join us to really figure out what the possibilities may be, that would take some pressure off the taxpayers, but also still provide those people while they're incarcerated the medical care that they need. And that concludes my report, Mr. Chairman.
Very well. Any questions for Ms. Dukes?
No, sir.
All right, we'll move into our citizens wishing to be heard. Our first citizen is Ms. Kelly Saxon. Please come forward and state your name and address for the record, please. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Commissioners and Chairman. My name is Kelly Saxon, 8 Baldwin Place, Lowndes County District 1, Lowndes County Leadership Lounge Class of 2020-2021. Since 2019, we have been advocating for affordable housing to be made a top priority in Lowndes County. The need for housing continues to grow, and it's critical that the county steps forward to lead and provide resources to address this urgent issue. We do know about funding that is forthcoming within a year or two, but we do have immediate needs now for our citizens. And the ask is to also look into the budget to see where these immediate needs can be met. For example, we have a Lowndes Countian who also lives in the county limits who contacted me and who's disabled and needed some assistance with repairing her home. Because of my experience in housing and what I've had done in the past, I was able to direct her to using USDA, in which now she will get her house repaired. But me alone cannot address or continue to address the needs of citizens in our community. So with the increased need for assistance with providing housing, we need action by initiating either a town hall focused on housing dialogue with citizens to actually hear what the needs are, just like this individual who has been helped with housing. We also need a designated point of contact with the county so citizens can express their concerns and their needs as far as Lowndes Countians. As a longtime community volunteer, I am no longer able to meet the volume of requests from residents seeking help again on my own. So I'm asking for help to support these efforts and needs of our Lowndes Countians. With the start of hurricane season, June 1st, there's also a need for more responsive communication and collaboration with our local organizations who are at the grassroots level, and then also having a point of entry as far as leading this coordination of efforts. So having someone on the grassroots level who can assist and address these needs with citizens. We get the calls, it's the same ones over and over again, and we cannot continue to support, especially after the last 18 months. So we must turn away anything that may become a distraction or a block from us being able to bring in resources that are willing to provide a helping hand at this time. So we are still in need. We still have citizens with trees on their houses, citizens with trees in the yards. And so agencies that come in and can remove those things, they are needed. And just for a moment, I'll talk about myself. I have personally been notified of a mortgage increase of over $200 because of the increase in property taxes. And I'm also in need myself of tree removal at one of my properties. So, like me, there are others in our community who are in need. We are asking for the county's leadership and partnership in this moment. We need action, we need communication, and we need commitment to serving the residents of Lowndes County. We need to know who our person is, who our point of contact is, to not just hear, but to address the needs of our citizens. Because I always say, after all, aren't we all Lowndes Countyans? Thank you.
All right, our next citizen wishing to be heard is Ms. Gretchen Quarterman. Please come forward and state your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. My name is Gretchen Quarterman. I live at 6565 Quarterman Road in Hahira. I appreciate that y'all continue to hear me, talk to me, be my friend. Yesterday, I learned that Lowndes County bought Rascals for a new fire station. And a commissioner told me today that that was old news and it happened last year, which I actually, when I went home yesterday, I looked that up and it was old news. But it was old news that I didn't know about. And I come to most of these meetings and I wondered, how is it that I didn't know about this? Because I really try to stay well informed. Well, it turns out that it happened after a regular session, after an executive session where you came back, and then you have the regular session is reopened, and you made this vote. I think it's awesome that Lake Park is going to get a highly visible at the Rascals location fire station. It'll be able to respond to people down there in a highly populated area in the same way that the one on US 41 will be able to, Stewart Circle will be able to respond to North Lowndes. What I'm not so keen about is that it appears as if, I know that this wasn't the intention, but it gives the appearance that this was done in some behind the back sly, nobody talked about, we didn't make an announcement, the PIO didn't say, hey, we're going to have this new thing. And I know why you don't want to announce things, because things don't always go the way that you sort of expect them to. But that was a lot of money to spend for a building that personally I don't think can be rehabbed for. We're going to build a new fire station for $4 million, and you paid $500,000 for the piece of property and the building. And that just makes me feel like, I don't know. I know you're trying to be good stewards, and probably in the big picture you are. But this gives the feeling of something that wasn't, that you had something to hide. And I'm hoping that's not true. So my ask is that you do the people's business in the open and not to the minimum requirement, because the minimum requirement is that you had the public meeting, you went to executive session, you came back, you opened the public meeting, everybody was gone by then. You didn't take any video of your own, so there's no recording other than the minutes. The other ask that I would have is, as we go forward, especially building out the fire department, why aren't we more telling the public what we're doing? Because people care about their pocketbook, and that fire tax is a big one. And I think they'd feel better, I know I would feel better, if every once in a while on the website or the Facebook, I would see this great thing is happening, and this is what your money's being used for. But thank you for building that down there. I'm pretty excited. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Commissioners, any other business? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.